let's start the American League premise. And if you look at the idea of the landscape in the postseason right now in the American League, the Yankees are going to make the playoffs. Tampa's going to got 40 wins. I mean, as much as I like to have fun with them, they're going to make the playoffs. Baltimore, I know a bad homestand, losing back-to-back series here to Cleveland and the Rangers. You figure they'll probably get in. And then, of course, Houston and Texas. The Astros are definitely going to make it. And Texas has, had a great May and have had a great record. That leaves you, and then the American League Central winner, whoever that might be, at 84 wins. That leaves you, only maybe, 4 teams battling or trying to catch that last seeded team in the American League. And those 4 teams right now, if you look at it, and I'm not going to include 2 teams in the AL Central. I'm not going to do that. But if you look at the 4 teams out of that division and in the other 2, it's the Angels, it's Seattle, it's the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. If you look at those 4 teams, and if you ask me right now which one I think out of the 4 has the best prospect of sort of creeping and sneaking in to the postseason and cracking the Big 5 after the American League Central winner, I'm going to say Seattle because of their pitching. It got lit up by the Yankees in the first 2 games of that series. They got a little equilibrium last night with Kirby. They win the game in the 10th, 1-0. They have very, very good starting pitching. And Seattle last year and the last 2 years have been a 90-win team, and last year they made the postseason. So out of those 4 teams, I have the most confidence. And Seattle's got some flaws. They're not a big offensive team. Despite some additions, they don't scare you in that lineup at all. But if I told you a team that I think has the best pedigree and the best, essentially weapons to get into the postseason, I'm going to say the Mariners in the American League West. Now, listen, there are a couple games over 500. Texas and Houston are very, very good. You're going to have to win 90 games. You're going to have to win 90 games minimum to be in this discussion. Tampa's winning 90 games. The Yankees winning 90 games. Baltimore most likely is winning 90 games. Texas is on their way to 90 games, and Houston's going to win 90 games. So if you're going to make the playoffs in this American League, you're going to have to win 90. I think Seattle, with their starting pitching, is best equipped. The Red Sox are still up and down. One night they made 35 errors in 55 games. That's the first thing. And for a team that doesn't have great pitching to make that many errors in 55 games, a big error by Devers last night, that's a major problem. And, Sale's gotten together, Paxton a little better, but their starting pitching is And their offense, they got a couple guys out, but their offense is, a little up and down. They play great for a couple of days, then they don't hit for a while. And this is a team that's been swept by the Angels, swept by the Pirates, and about to be swept by the Reds. And so, and 2 of those are at home. So at a game over 500, it's very difficult to see the Red Sox at the end of the day getting all the way up to 90. We're going to put them in the mix because they are the Red Sox, but still that is a problem. Blue Jays, same thing. I don't like what I see out of them either. They got a little Padre-oriented scenario with them. Don't hit a lot. One day they score 20 runs, then they don't hit for a month. They're a strange team. Even last night with Milwaukee, had trouble there against Tehran, which is very troublesome. They got a lot of home games, but, listen, Manaea, bad again last night. Manoah, not Manaea, bad again last night, so I'd be a little concerned about the Blue Jays. I've been down on them anyway. Listen, they made the playoffs last year. They won 90 the year before. They're capable. First and short is wonderful. Springer, we know, big games, does an excellent job, but still, I don't know about the Blue Jays either, whether they're consistent enough day to day. And then the Angels, I'm just not with their starting pitching and their bullpen, despite the exploits of Ohtani, who's been wonderful, Trout, who's been excellent. I still wonder about the Angels, and they've had 4 or 5 games over 500, so it's not like they're awful, but I don't know if they have the pitching depth to catch, say, Seattle or anybody else in the American League. So if there's any of those 4 teams that could make a run, it would be Seattle. In the NL, if you look at the Braves, the NL Central winner, very much like the American League Central, and the Dodgers, and let's give the Diamondbacks a spot, and let's give the Mets a spot, is a little more maneuverability, but, there's still not a ton of teams there either. We're going to eliminate the Padres and the Phillies from this discussion, partly because all we do is talk about them, and number 2, they have the wherewithal and the weaponry. If they play well, they're better than the Giants, Reds, Pirates, and Marlins, which is where we go right now. San Francisco's done an excellent job of getting back to 500, despite a bad hiccup against the Pirates, losing 2 out of 3 at home. Obviously Webb's a very, very good pitcher. DeScalfani's pitched pretty well. Cobb, yesterday, not so good, not terrible. But the Giants got a lot of guys who they are still trying to do the thing they did 2 years ago. Mix and match a lot, try to win with some versatility and a lot of veterans. There's no superstar on the Giants. There's no great player on the Giants who you can sort of ride for a couple of weeks, or a group of great players. Even their rotation, I like Webb, but is he a great pitcher? So the Giants, to me, are a team that's going to be 82-80 at the end of the day. Cincinnati's a nice little story. A lot of people think the Reds, Steve Phillips does, that this is a team on the come in the next couple of years, has an excellent farm system. They have the makings of a little bit of a pitching staff. Votto's contract will be out of the way pretty soon. But the Reds, most likely, and they're on a winning streak right now, but the Reds, they could win the division because the division's bad, but that is their avenue. Pittsburgh, same thing. Very bad baseball for a long period of time when they lose 19-26 after a good start. Got back on the beam these last 2 days, and Keller's pitched great, but does anybody think the Pirates, maybe they can challenge Milwaukee or St. Louis? Does anybody think the Pirates are going to are going to make the playoffs? Or the Cubs? I didn't even include them in this scenario. I don't think so. I still think the NL Central will come down to Milwaukee and St. Louis, and I don't think the Reds, I don't think the Pirates, and I don't think the Giants are going to get in, nor do I think the Marlins are going to get in. Now, they had a great win last night, typical San Diego. Hader, who's been very good, 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and so the Marlins beat the Padres. That's a heck of a win for them. I think it's more distressing for the Padres than it is for the Marlins, but the Marlins have been pretty competitive. The kid they got from Minnesota leads the league in hitting. He's done a great job. Solaris hit 1 million home runs. You like what they have there. And obviously they haven't had a great year so far out of Alcantara. That eventually should change. The manager, Schumacher's done a nice job. But still, does anybody think the Marlins are going to creep towards that figure where they have to be? It appears in the NL that you may not have to get the 90 because of the Mets' plight, San Diego's plight, the Phillies' plight. So it may not take 90. Last year it took 87. So it may not take 90 to get in. Last year in the American League, the Mariners got 90, so did Toronto. It may not take the 90 to get in the NL, but do I think the Marlins, the Pirates, the Reds, the Giants are going to get the 90? The answer is no. I still think at the end of the day, it's the Braves, it's the Mets, the NL Central winner, it's the Diamondbacks. You got to give them a chance now. They played well. They were 10-11 over 500. They've done a nice job. They played a third of the season. Obviously, LA. And then we figure out who can sneak in with those last couple spots. Maybe it's San Diego gets something going. Maybe it's the Phillies. Maybe one of these 4 can do that. But right now, it's really one spot. Mets, Braves, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and the NL Central winner. Maybe somebody of these 4 can get in. I don't really think so. I think probably one of the teams that we thought was going to be good will get something together. In the American League, Seattle's the team, I think, because of their pitching, that can make a run. Bottom line is, it's a lot of have and have not, especially in the American League, which, makes you think what's going to happen in the summertime.